The big issue I have is with Travis Hunter. She's crying herself to sleep. What in God's name would make you think that that's a good thing to tell the world? Why would you do that? What are you doing? Lyanna, what are you doing? Before I go any further on this subject, let me fully explain. She also went on to explain her actions following Colorado's last home game, where fans wondered why she didn't seem to give him a hug. And then she explained to fans why she didn't respond to Travis when he first tried to holler via a DM.
Stephen A. Smith had finally seen enough after clips of Travis Hunter's wife broke down in tears on social media, and with weeks of gold digger accusations piling up, the pressure was insane. The outspoken ESPN host didn't hold back. He went straight to Travis on IG Live, and what he said might just be the wake-up call that changes how Hunter moves with his marriage, his image, and what the world thinks of him forever. In the cutthroat world of sports media, where clicks come from controversy and drama equals dollars, Stephen A. Smith has built his name on bold, unapologetic takes. That's why nobody expected him to step into Travis Hunter and Lyanna Lini's mess like this. Conventional wisdom said he'd either stay silent on their drama or toss out the same tired line about keep your private life private.
First of all, Lyanna, you are his lady, you are his fiancée, you are about to be his wife. Why are you explaining to the world how much you care about him? Does he know? That's all that matters. You are on camera, your voice cracking.
But instead, Smith did the unthinkable. He came to Lini's defense, and not just with vague sympathy either. His words were sharp, passionate, and aimed at protecting her, proving that sometimes a voice in the media can shield instead of destroy. It was a rare moment where Smith flipped the script and showed how power can be used responsibly. But to really see why his stance hit so hard, you gotta understand the storm Lyanna had been trapped in. This wasn't some harmless gossip swirling around. She was hit with a full-on digital attack, a campaign to tear down her character piece by piece. The drama boiled over at the worst possible time when old videos and so-called DMs from 2020 and 2021 suddenly resurfaced, all on their wedding day, May 24th, 2025. It was a coordinated hit job designed to ruin their moment, not some random coincidence. The leaks painted her in the worst light, one clip allegedly showing Lini dancing with another man at a party, and screenshots that supposedly hinted at flirty messages. Social media vultures had a field day, circling and ripping apart every frame, every word, pushing the controversy to explosive new levels. The so-called evidence floating around online was shady from the start. The authenticity couldn't be proven. The timeline was a mess, and the intent behind it all was straight up malicious.
You gotta be stronger than that. You gotta have alligator skin. You're a young lady, a beautiful young lady who one would surmise completely loves her man and is looking forward to spending the rest of your life with them. Congratulations. But it's about him, not about what other people think about you with him.
But in the court of public opinion, people don't care about facts. They care about the juiciest story. That's where Stephen A. Smith stepped in, using his deep knowledge of media manipulation to cut through the noise. Instead of running with the mob like everyone else, he broke it down with real journalistic standards. Smith called out the timeline first, pointing out that those videos and screenshots could have happened before Travis and Lyanna were even exclusive. That shift changed everything. He wasn't just defending Lyanna, he was teaching his audience how to think smarter, reminding them not to swallow every headline without context. When Stephen A. spoke, it wasn't just another sports commentator sounding off, it was decades of credibility and authority coming through. His voice carried weight, and people across the sports world stopped to listen. But instead of dragging the couple like many expected, he flipped the script and defended them. And when he zeroed in on Lyanna, that's when his words hit the hardest. I don't want to hear about anything she may have done years ago. She's a young lady. She ain't some seasoned grown woman who's experienced and living her life manipulating things. She's a young lady. Mistakes happen. Those were Stephen A. Smith's exact words, and the passion in his voice made it clear.
When his name was called, I instantly was gonna, if you watch the video, you can see me like, but his mom didn't get up. So I was like, oh, maybe I don't get up, maybe I just sit here with her. So I sat there, and then y'all said Coach Prime had to tell me to get up. No, he didn't. He said, go get him. Go get your man. And once Travis stood up, but he didn't have to do that because I was gonna do that anyway.
This wasn't some PR stunt. This was raw empathy and understanding. He reminded everyone that Lyanna was just 23, not a veteran at life, but a young woman still figuring things out. And then he went further, turning his message directly at the couple, mixing wisdom with tough love. His frustration came out strong as he laid out what he saw as a massive mistake in how they handled the situation. That's when Stephen A. dropped one of his most unforgettable gems about surviving public scrutiny. He shifted straight to Travis Hunter, hitting him with some of the harshest, but most needed, criticism yet. "You don't see these trolls out here, bro," Smith warned, snapping Hunter back to reality. And then, with all eyes on Travis's future in pro sports, the message cut even deeper. Smith actually praised the couple's choice to deactivate their Instagram accounts, calling it a smart move to dodge the endless microscope on their relationship. He framed it plain and simple. Sometimes the only way to win a rigged game is to stop playing it at all. That wasn't just advice, it was survival tactics from someone who's watched countless young stars crash under pressure.
Don't give into that. You're about to go into the National Football League. That's what you're about to do. You're about to get paid. In my eyes, this should be your most selfish time. You need to think about the people that you're involving in your life. How close-knit they are. Do they keep things internal? They're gonna go on social media and express themselves.
To wrap his point, Smith leaned on comedy legend Cat Williams, throwing in a final bit of wisdom about how to handle haters when they come swinging. It was the kind of closer that made his whole speech feel less like commentary and more like a blueprint for survival in the spotlight. And the timing, it couldn't have been more significant. This wasn't some random celebrity couple stuck in gossip blogs. This was a young black athlete at the top of his game being told by strangers that his partner wasn't good enough for him. That racial and cultural layer made the attacks heavier, and Smith, with his deep knowledge of what black athletes face in the spotlight, was the perfect person to check it. He even backed up Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders, who blasted celebrities like Dez Bryant, Bo Wow, and Godfrey for throwing shade at Hunter publicly instead of just hitting him up privately. By siding with Sanders, Smith wasn't only defending Lyanna, he was laying down rules on how public figures should carry themselves when it comes to young athletes' private lives. The courage it took for Stephen A. Smith to step up like this can't be downplayed. In an industry built on ratings, viral drama, and endless hot takes, choosing compassion over controversy is almost never the safe business move. Smith could have easily kept quiet or dropped some watered-down statement that didn't ruffle feathers. But instead, he risked it all to stand on principle and show what fairness really looks like.
Don't do it. Take it from your boy Stephen A. Because you know I'm rooting for you. First of all, I think she's beautiful. I think y'all a beautiful couple. I wish you nothing but the best. Secondly, you got Prime. Talk to your coach. That brother knows. They came after him too, and look at how he's shining.
And he didn't just clap back at critics, he schooled them. Smith broke down why their behavior was so damaging, showing how constant public commentary only keeps the spotlight burning hotter, fueling doubt and suspicion. He flipped the script from pure defense to education, basically teaching the audience the mechanics of how a social media pile-on spins out of control. What made his stance hit even harder was how tuned in he was to the generational divide. Smith knew that dragging up old clips or messages from years ago, especially when the relationship timeline isn't even clear, is nothing but a weapon, and he wasn't about to let that weapon be used against a young couple still learning how to navigate fame. This wasn't just commentary, it was mentorship, the kind of straight talk young stars crave, but almost never get from people in power. And the reaction showed the split perfectly. Some praised his empathy and wisdom, calling it rare to see a media giant use their platform to protect instead of destroy. while others slammed him for sticking his nose into personal business. But they missed the bigger truth. The personal was already dragged into the public, and Smith was stepping in because the damage was already done. At the core, his move highlighted the choice every public figure faces: exploit or elevate, destroy or protect, chase sensationalism or show responsibility. Smith chose the higher road, and that decision shaped how this whole controversy will be remembered, and maybe even set a new standard for how these storms get handled moving forward. But to grasp just how explosive and messy this saga became, we've got to rewind and look at where the chaos first began. It didn't start with leaked videos or shady DMs. It began with just a few seconds of hesitation, quiet but powerful enough to echo across the sports world for months. Travis Hunter, the 2024 Heisman Trophy winner and Jacksonville Jaguars' $46.65 million rookie star, thought his toughest battles would come on the field. He was dead wrong. His fiercest fight wasn't against defenders. It was against the ruthless arena of social media, where every glance, every pause, every tiny gesture can be twisted into a scandal. The spark that lit the fuse didn't come from a mistake in the game. It came from a moment that should have been nothing but celebration.
I know what I got. I know my girl been with me for 5 years. Y'all are just not starting to talk about me and just not starting to be with me. I feel the same pain that she feels. We're inseparable, bro. You know, you hurt, but you just cry yourself to sleep and you just be gone.
December 14th, 2024, the night of the Heisman Trophy ceremony. Hunter was crowned college football's most outstanding player, the peak of his college career. But in the exact second his name thundered through the auditorium, something happened that would flip the narrative upside down. Instead of jumping up in joy, Hunter's fiancée Lyanna stayed seated, while his mom and coach Deion Sanders leapt to their feet. That tiny pause, just seconds long, became the clip millions obsessed over, dissecting every frame like detectives hunting for hidden meaning. And the internet, it pounced instantly. What should have been a night of glory turned into a storm of finger-pointing and speculation about loyalty, love, and what real support looks like. Social media warriors twisted the moment into an attack on Lyanna, accusing her of not being excited enough, not proud enough, not supportive enough. The noise was deafening. But the truth behind that hesitation told a different story. A young woman caught in the high-pressure crossfire of family hierarchy and public expectations, forced to navigate it all in real time while the world judged her every move. She wasn't being cold or unsupportive. She was being respectful. Lyanna was simply trying to follow Hunter's mom's lead, making sure that moment belonged to the family who had sacrificed everything to get him there. But the internet, it didn't care about context. The narrative was already locked in, and facts became nothing more than obstacles to twist or ignore. The trolls came storming out with the same tired lines that have haunted young black athletes for generations. Gold digger. She ain't right for him. He can do better. These weren't just random haters dropping comments. This was a calculated smear campaign aimed at tearing down a young woman whose only crime was loving a man in the spotlight.
Obviously, I have issues with it because I believe black men should be married to black women, and this looks like it's going to be another tragic tale of another multi-million-dollar black athlete who sooner or later is going to get divorced, and his non-black wife is going to run off with all of his career earnings.
That single Heisman hesitation wasn't treated as a one-off moment either. It became evidence in a growing case against her. Every public appearance since had been dissected like a forensic file. Every gesture, every glance, every flash of normal human emotion turned into proof of some supposed relationship drama. The Oklahoma State game incident became another clip weaponized against her. When Hunter leaned in for a kiss and Lyanna appeared to pull back, the internet treated it like a courtroom exhibit, piling on even harder with claims their love was fake. But the worst part wasn't the noise, it was the toll. The attacks didn't just stain her public image, they crushed her spirit. On Twitch, Hunter admitted the online hate had left her crying herself to sleep after drinking just to numb the pain. That confession stripped away the memes, the jokes, the viral pile-ons, and showed the heartbreaking truth hiding underneath. Behind the screens and hashtags was a real woman, one who only wanted to celebrate her partner's success, but instead found herself drowning in a nightmare of public humiliation and digital character assassination. The backlash didn't just stay in the comment sections. Big names jumped in and made it worse. Former NFL star Des Bryant went on social media and flat out told Travis Hunter to leave Lyanna, saying she wasn't right for him. Even though Bryant deleted the post later, the damage was permanent. The controversy had now reached the point where ex-pros felt bold enough to tell a young man to walk away from the woman he loved. Then Dr. Umar Johnson stepped in, adding another explosive layer by tying the situation to racial dynamics, stirring the pot, and making an already messy situation even more volatile. Suddenly, what began as a debate about supportiveness spiraled into something bigger. Arguments about race, money, loyalty, and the expectations put on successful black athletes. What should have been a private matter between two young people in love was now a public battleground, a referendum on relationships, race, and even financial responsibility. And at the center of it all was Lyanna, facing the kind of impossible standards no one could ever live up to. She was expected to always smile, always cheer, always be grateful, non-stop. The second she slipped, even for a moment, critics painted her as untrustworthy or selfish. The pressure crushed them both so badly that by December 2024, Travis and Lyanna shut down their Instagram accounts, retreating from the spotlight just to protect their mental health. But instead of giving them peace, haters twisted that move as proof of guilt, when in reality, it was just two people trying to survive relentless harassment. And that's when Stephen A. Smith stepped in. With his platform, his credibility, and his unmatched voice, he flipped the entire narrative. Instead of tearing down, he defended. Instead of exploiting, he protected. And that choice became the true turning point, not just in this scandal, but in showing how powerful media figures should handle situations when the mob comes crashing in. The stage was set: destruction versus protection, chaos versus leadership, social media mob versus responsible journalism. The real question wasn't just if Lyanna deserved better treatment. It was whether the sports media industry itself would choose sensationalism over humanity when the pressure was at its peak. Because while Stephen A. Smith stepped up to defend Travis and Lyanna, plenty of other voices in the spotlight chose a very different path. After Smith's intervention, the reaction exposed just how split the landscape really was. Some doubled down on tearing the couple apart. Others tossed out unsolicited advice, and only a handful actually offered support. This pile-on made one thing crystal clear. There's a massive difference between responsible commentary and pure attention-chasing opportunism. And here's what made it all so disturbing. It wasn't just trolls hiding behind anonymous accounts fanning the flames. It was big-name public figures with huge platforms inserting themselves into two young people's private lives without even bothering to understand the full context or the damage their words could cause. Dr. Umar Johnson quickly emerged as one of the most polarizing voices in the entire saga. Instead of keeping the focus on the couple, he dragged racial politics into the mix, turning what should have been a private matter into a debate about black wealth and interracial relationships. His commentary didn't just spark conversation, it divided people, fueling even more hostility.
He's absolutely in love with this girl. Okay, I'll give you another one. This is what he said.
That's insane.
That
He's crazy. He needs better people around him.
He has the best people around him.
No, he doesn't. Not if they let that happen. They shouldn't have let that slip through the cracks.
Check this out. So Travis is on an interview and he goes, so when she was in her party era, I would wait in the car and just let her party until she comes outside.
No, that's bad.
Hunter, what do you think about that? That's crazy, right?
That is diabolical.
And then Umar took it further. He went straight at the money, criticizing the financial implications of the relationship and questioning Travis Hunter's judgment outright. For many, that crossed the line. What should have been love and family talk had now turned into a public interrogation of a young black man's personal choices, all under the guise of racial loyalty. It was a troubling trend, public figures using racial politics as a free pass to control or shame successful young athletes. And standing in sharp contrast to all that noise was Stephen A. Smith, whose response, measured yet passionate, showed that it was still possible to defend with empathy instead of exploiting for clout. Another voice came from the hip-hop world, Lyanna. who tried to give a nuanced take on the relationship, but still carried undertones that raised eyebrows. His commentary revealed a major generational divide in how people view young love under the spotlight. Ino pointed out something older voices never seem to grasp: that young love can be real even in an era of social media, cameras, and non-stop public judgment. But his words eventually took a darker turn when he started predicting future problems, almost foreshadowing doom for the couple before it even happened. That's where the issue came in, because even if meant well, it played into the same toxic assumption: that young relationships can't survive success, that fame and temptation will always destroy real love. And it wasn't just media voices adding pressure. Celebrities piled on too. Former NFL star Dez Bryant jumped online to tell Hunter straight up to leave Lyanna, claiming she wasn't right for him. He deleted the post later, but the damage was already done. When legends of the game feel comfortable telling a young man to ditch the woman he loves, you know the storm has gone way too far. Then Bow Wow chimed in on the Club Shay Shay podcast, giving Hunter advice about women who could sidetrack his goals, heavily implying Lyanna might hold him back from his NFL dreams. He later clarified he wasn't dissing Hunter, just speaking from his own mistakes, but the message landed the same way: older men trying to force their regrets onto a young couple's choices. The effect was crushing. Every new voice jumping into the controversy made it easier for others to pile on. The criticism snowballed, turning into an avalanche of negativity that threatened to bury Travis and Lyanna completely. And underneath it all, the ugliest truth came out: the double standards successful young black men and their partners face when it comes to love, loyalty, and respect. Travis Hunter's athletic greatness was celebrated everywhere, but his relationship? That was treated like public property, up for approval or rejection by strangers who had zero clue about the real dynamics of his love life. And when you compare the noise from opportunistic voices to Stephen A. Smith's defense, the contrast couldn't have been clearer. While Smith preached empathy and understanding, others pushed suspicion and separation. Where Smith highlighted context and facts, others thrived off speculation and gossip. The most heartbreaking and powerful moment came months later, when Lyanna dropped a TikTok in July 2025. The video had actually been filmed back in December 2024, showing her crying alone in a bathroom with a motivational sermon playing in the background. The caption revealed the pain she endured, but also the growth she fought to reclaim. "I wish I could go back and hug December me. The amount you can grow and develop in just 6 months of devoting your life to Jesus and getting away from the shackles of the world and social media is truly astounding." That raw honesty laid it all bare. This wasn't just a tabloid drama. It was a young woman crushed by public judgment who somehow found strength through faith and personal growth. But even that moment of healing got twisted. Critics misread the video as something recent, sparking false divorce rumors out of thin air. Instead of respecting her vulnerability, the internet tried to turn it into yet another headline. But not everyone joined the hate train. Some voices rose up to support her, finally shifting the tide. WNBA star Angel Reese commented, "So proud of you, baby. The storm doesn't last forever," sending a message of solidarity instead of shame. Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders also stood tall for Hunter, blasting public figures like Dez Bryant for trashing him publicly instead of just reaching out privately. In those moments, you could see the line drawn. On one side, critics weaponizing pain for clout, and on the other, people choosing compassion, showing what real support looks like in the spotlight. Shedeur Sanders' defense carried a special kind of weight, because it came from inside Travis Hunter's own circle, from someone who truly understood the pressures of being young, famous, and constantly judged in the spotlight. And here's the truth. Despite all the wild rumors, celebrity hot takes, and social media gossip, there has never been a shred of concrete evidence to back claims of infidelity, divorce, or major marriage problems between Travis and Lyanna. As of August 12, 2025, their reality tells a very different story than the headlines. Their continued commitment to each other, their marriage, their public shows of love, their bond, all prove that real love can survive a celebrity storm when it's genuine and when it's protected by voices of conscience, like Stephen A. Smith stepping up when it mattered most. In a culture that often tries to tear down instead of build up, their story is a reminder that there are still people willing to take the hard road, standing for truth, for fairness, and for loyalty, even when it's unpopular, even when it means going against the crowd. The internet may rage, celebrities may pile on, but love, real love, backed by courage and conscience, can not only survive, it can thrive. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, drop a comment, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.